Hello my fragrance friends, it's Kat and I'm back today to talk about the vanilla fragrances that I have in my collection. Now you might be saying, this sounds very similar to a video you did a few weeks ago. I did do a video about fragrances that are very vanilla dominant, but there's a twist to it. So it might be a rosy vanilla, a lemony vanilla, something like that, an ambery vanilla. Now these ones are supposed to be known for being like almost just vanilla. So if you want to smell like vanilla, some of these are the ones that I tracked down because of that reputation. Because there was a time, I think this time last year, I was like, all I want to do is just project vanilla. I'm going to start with the most vanilla-y vanilla. So there's like pretty much only vanilla in here. There's two notes. There's vanilla and there's musk. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about this one here. It's the most boring bottle and it's very expensive and it's been around for a long time. This is Tihota by the brand Indult. Now, when I was doing my vanilla research, this is the one that I decided was going to be the vanillas to end all vanillas. So I decided to blind buy it. For 50 mils, I think it was like $300 and something, so it was very expensive. Now, this very boring bottle has been around for nearly 20 years, and the very so famous Francis Kurkdjian was the perfumer behind it. Now, this has two notes, vanilla and musk. So super, super simple. Now, what I heard about this was it's the most realistic vanilla you're going to get. It's long wearing, it's beautiful, it's super highly rated on Fragrantica. Now, I agree with all of those things. This is the most elevated. It smells like you have just opened like a jar of like vanilla paste. It is divine. My issue with this is that on me, this turns very, very quickly into a skin scent, or I go a bit nose blind to it. So I can put it on and it just turns into like a sweet body musk. Now I know that it stays somewhere because there's been times where I've worn this and then on my clothes, I've smelt it the next day and I'm like, God, that smells delicious. But I can't really smell this on myself. And I don't know if it projects at all. I don't think it does. So I still have the box for this. I'm so tempted to sell it. But there's part of me that's like, this is the best smelling vanilla. It is. It's there. I've got it in my hands. It smells amazing. It just doesn't wear very well on me and it doesn't really show up on my skin to my nose anyway. So this one is if you want vanilla and you want a high quality, non-plasticky, like synthetic vanilla, this is it. Just be aware that you might go a bit nose blind to it and it can sit very close like a skin scent. I might play around with this more this winter and like see if anyone notices it on me, because as soon as I sort of realized that I don't smell it on me, I became really disheartened and I sort of put it away in a dark corner in a box, and it was like my little sad corner of my fragrance collection. But I'm curious to see if it's just something I can't smell but other people can smell. If it is, like, I'll wear it, but I don't get the joy of this on me. The reason why I decided to do this video fairly quickly was because I am panning my Kayali Vanilla 28 and I wanted to be able to include this because this is such a highly suggested one. So if you're looking for vanillas, you'll get so many people saying this is the only one they reach for. It smells like, again, sort of like a vanilla sort of extract type thing. To me, this smells like, when you first spray it, it smells like alcohol and imitation vanilla, so not like real vanilla. It just smells like fake vanilla. And then it just goes so woody on me that it smells like wood chips or like dusty. So to me, this is actually a woody fragrance with some vanilla in it, but it's not a dominant like vanilla fragrance to me. And I struggle with this. So that's why I'm using it up. So I wanted to mention this as being one that I don't like. And if you do want to smell like a cloud of vanilla, I don't recommend this because you'll smell like a cloud of wood chips that's just had a little bit of imitation vanilla sprinkled on it. But some people love it. So I just wanted to flag this one. I'm not a fan. Another thing that was a bit of a upsetting thing about Tihota was that I also bought this tiny little thing, which is by Nemat. This is a vanilla fragrance oil. So it's a roll-on oil. You can also buy it in a little jar where you sort of just tip it out. I decided to go the roll-on because I felt like that was more convenient. This smells very much like Tihota, little bit more artificial, but it gives you that vanilla musk vibe. So this is called Vanilla Musk, and that's exactly what this is. So if you want to see if you would like Tihota without actually having to track down a sample of it, I'd recommend buying this one. You can get it off places like Amazon or whatnot. It's very, very affordable, and it will give you the vibe of Tihota, but not as refined, if that makes sense. I feel like Tihota is just a little bit more realistic. It's a little bit more special smelling, but this is very, very similar. Very, very similar. And that's the thing that I think also just rubbed salt in the wounds a little bit. This was like under $20 or something, or close to, and that was like 300 plus. So try this first. A fragrance that I'll actually reach for if I want just that plain vanilla fragrance, which I am sort of over that phase of just wanting to smell like vanilla, but this is the one that I'll reach for if I do want to smell like that. So this is Jovoy Fire at Will. Now, this is still a fairly pricey fragrance because it is a niche brand, but at least you're getting 100 mils. It's still cheaper than Tihota. There's a little bit more to this though. So this one ultimately smells like a beautiful vanilla, but it is like a warmer vanilla. There is more going on. There's some sugar notes. There's mimosa. There's amber, musk, vetiver. So for me, this is a little bit more ambery, a little bit warmer, but that sort of settles down and it ends up just smelling like a longer lasting vanilla. So this one, if I want a vanilla to last on me most of the day, this is a really, really great one because it gives you that vanilla fragrance, that vanilla sort of body cloud thing going on, but it's not just like a skin scent. There's something a little bit punchier because of that vetiver and the amber, and I think you get the amber a little bit stronger at the start, but it does fade down to more just a beautiful warm vanilla. So I love this one. One note I do want to say is that when you first get it, the liquid is a lot lighter, so it looks a lot more sort of like yellow, and it can smell a bit artificial vanilla. So if you have tried it and you're like, this smells like plastic doll head vanilla, I feel you. Just let it macerate a bit and let it age, and you'll find that when the liquid does turn a bit deeper, which will take maybe a few months, whatever, it smells a lot more realistic and a lot more refined. So just give it some time. Another one that I do want to mention that I actually passed on to my sister because it did smell very artificial. This is a cheaper version as well. I think it's by Outremer. It is a pretty famous one because again, it's that pure sort of vanilla fragrance, and it's pretty affordable. I had the bottle of this, and for me it was really artificial. So that sort of 90s plastic vanilla doll head vibe, like that's what I associate it with. I found it a little bit jarring and I didn't love it. That to me, if I was to use it up, it'd be a room spray because I just didn't like that artificial fragrance to it. This one, it had that a tinsy bit, but luckily mellowed out. That one, that Outremer one, never mellowed out for me. I had it for like a year and I was like, nah, you're going to a new home. One that I want to flag that eventually smells a lot like this. This is a little bit more complex though. This is by the brand Sphinx Fragrances, and it's the Egyptian Sugar Soiree. Now this is an absolute powerhouse of a fragrance. It's really strong. So I did actually mention this fragrance in my sort of vanilla with a twist video because there's a lot more going on when it comes to the notes of this. So it does have like cream and a lot of coconut and sweet notes and tonka, but ultimately this is super strong for one. It lasts like easily 12 hours. But the dry down of this smells very much like this. So if you wanted something that's a real powerhouse, but then gives you that sort of vanilla dry down with a bit of amber notes, this one starts really strong and a little bit more complex, but then ends up smelling a lot like this one. And I have to say also the liquid, when I first got this, it was a little bit more like this. So yeah, it does age. I did sort of play around with some of the Demeter fragrances. These are the perfume oils. So these are the roll-on oils. You can get them in the spray. I found the oils are a little bit longer lasting and they smell a bit better. This is vanilla cake batter. Now I don't know how I feel about this. It smells quite buttery and quite artificial. So again, it doesn't smell yummy. It almost smells, I don't know, like soured buttercream. I don't know. It's odd. Yeah, there's like a sour smell to it. Like you've put sour cream in the buttercream. I don't know. So this to me is not a winner. But this is one that I'll probably keep just to sort of layer. So it is quite good to have a perfume oil and then you can layer a perfume over the top. So I'm going to keep this. It's not hugely offensive, but if you want to smell like vanilla, I think this misses the mark. One that does give me vanilla cakey vibes, and this is probably my most used fragrance, I think partly because it's quite affordable, easy to come by. So if I need to repurchase it, I'm not like crying into my bank account. This is Empire Victor by Khadlaj. Now this does have citrus in the opening, but it dissipates very quickly. So if you don't like citrus, I wouldn't be deterred by this because it literally lasts like as soon as the liquid dries on your skin, it really sort of just lifts and disappears. What is left behind though is this really beautiful, subtle, cakey vanilla vibe. It's not too sweet. It's a little bit fresh, but it's really cozy and really lovely. So if I want to wear a sort of a scent for me, because this is like a lighter scent, so it is more of a skin scent. It does last fairly well, but it's so subtle that it doesn't project. So don't expect it to be like you're walking around and there's like a cloud of vanilla that people are going to smell around you. This is more like something that you want to wear because you just want to smell good. This is one that I reach for very, very often. It's a very different vanilla profile. Again, it has almost like a sweet bready sort of vibe to it, but it's really, really lovely. And again, this is just one that I layer with other fragrances. Sometimes if something smells too artificial and icky, I'll layer with this just to sort of brighten it up a little bit. I really love this one. So yes, there's other notes involved in it, but to me, I would call this to be like a beautiful vanilla, a bready vanilla skin scent, which I love. I think it's really, really beautiful. Another fragrance that I have, but I don't currently have it with me. I don't know where it is and I'm not too fussed about it, which also says a lot that I don't care too much about it. When I was researching vanillas, Vanilla Sky by Skylar popped up a lot as like a great vanilla to have. Now this is an interesting vanilla because it does have like coffee and caramel and other notes to it, but I just found that it was really bland and disappointing. And my overall opinion of Skylar is it's pretty much a body mist brand priced at a fragrance brand, which is too much. So I didn't love it, but that's an option if you wanted to check it out. The last one I want to mention is Eclaire by Lattafa. Now I wouldn't call this one to be a true vanilla. For me, this doesn't actually smell much like vanilla, but I know that a lot of people get strongly vanilla vibes from this. Some people talk about it being like a vanilla ice cream. Other people talk about it being really strongly caramel. I think, and this is not a note in it, so it's a bit odd, but to me, this smells like what I understand in my head of tonka bean smelling like. To me, this smells like a tonka fragrance, which I don't love. I think the dry down is a lot more caramelly vanilla, which is very nice, but the opening is a little bit like almost nutty, but I can't put my finger exactly on what it is. You might want to try it if you are interested. It is sort of a dupe for Bianco Latte, which is a really popular one. Again, for me, that was very nutty, almondy, but yeah, I don't rate this as a strong vanilla one, but the dry down is really beautiful. Sometimes what I do, if I want to smell like this without projecting this weird sort of nuttiness, sometimes I'll actually spray this really early in the morning. So by the time I'm sort of up and leaving the house and doing things, I have more of that sort of soft vanilla vibe. But it's not a true vanilla in my opinion, but it gives, to a lot of people's nose, that sort of vanilla vibe. Now I have to admit, vanilla is one of those notes that I find quite hard to pass up. I do actually have pretty much a list of some vanilla dominant scents that I want to check out from like Middle Eastern brands and other brands I really want to try, but I feel like the note is getting quite repetitive in my collection. So until I start using some of these up, I really don't need them, but I do find them quite hard to resist because that beautiful vanilla scent I feel like is an all year round fragrance. It's really cozy. It's really pretty. So it's just one of those fragrance notes that I'm like, I can wear it every day. I find it very hard to resist. So let me know if you've tried any of these, what you think about them, what your ultimate like pure vanilla, if you can find one, fragrance is, and I'll chat to you in the comments. Bye.